Your mind is either your power or your prison. You choose. That one choice changes everything. If you don't train your mind to work for you, it will quietly work against you. This audiobook is not about hype or temporary motivation. It's about helping you build the mindset that creates real results. The success you want begins in your head. How you think, what you believe, what you do daily. Most people are stuck because they never fix their thinking. They stay in the same place, not because they can't grow, but because they don't control the way they think. How to develop the success mindset that will change your life gives you the step-by-step mental shift that turns excuses into action, laziness into movement, and stress into clarity. Every chapter speaks directly to your psychology, using real-life simple language. If you're ready to stop feeling stuck and start thinking like someone who wins, this is where it begins. Chapter 1. Fix the way you think, or stay stuck forever. You can't change your life until you change the way you think. That's the truth. Everything you want, better health, stronger relationships, financial success, peace of mind, it all begins with your thinking. If your thinking is weak, your results will stay weak. If your thinking is negative, your life will feel heavy and miserable. But if you start fixing the way you think, you begin to unlock everything that's been out of reach. See, your mind is either your best friend or your worst enemy. It either pushes you forward or holds you back. And most people never stop to question how they think. They just live on autopilot, repeating the same habits, reacting the same way, believing the same lies about themselves over and over. That's why they stay stuck. Not because they're not smart, not because they don't have talent, but because they never took the time to clean up their thinking. If you're always telling yourself, "I can't, I'm tired, it's too late, or I'll never be like them," you're programming failure into your life every single day. And the worst part is, you start to believe it. You start to live like it. You stop trying. You give half effort. You settle. And before you know it, 10 years go by, and you're in the same place, or worse. That's not a life. That's just surviving. That's staying stuck. Now here's what I learned. You don't get ahead by just doing more. You get ahead by thinking better. You change your life by changing the story you tell yourself in your mind. You stop feeding the thoughts that drain your energy. You stop accepting beliefs that were never true. And you start choosing thoughts that push you higher. That's when things begin to shift. You've got to ask yourself some serious questions. What kind of thoughts do I wake up with in the morning? What do I believe about myself when things get hard? How do I talk to myself when I fail? Because all of that matters. If you keep thinking like a victim, you'll act like one. If you keep thinking like a failure, you'll live like one. And no amount of hard work can fix a broken mindset. That's the root. You've got to fix the root. Some people spend their whole lives blaming the world, blaming their past, blaming people who didn't show up. But you know what takes real strength? Taking full control of your own mind, saying, "I decide how I think. I decide how I respond. I decide what I believe about me." That's the mindset of someone who's serious about their life. You have to get honest. How long have you let doubt control you? How many times have you talked yourself out of something you really wanted? How often do you start with energy, but give up when it gets tough, because your mind starts whispering that you're not good enough? That voice isn't the truth. It's just old thinking. It's the leftovers from your past, and if you don't challenge it, it stays. If you don't replace it, it rules your life. That's why awareness is step 1. You can't change what you won't face. Start paying attention. Catch your thoughts when they're pulling you backward. When you hear your mind say, "This is too much," stop right there and ask, "Is it really, or is that just my old fear talking?" You're not going to change your mindset in one day, but you can start training it every day. You train it by what you feed it. Stop spending hours watching things that poison your focus. Stop listening to people who want you to stay small. Start reading things that grow your perspective. Start putting positive pressure on your mind. Stretch it, feed it, challenge it. That's how you rewire it. Every morning before the world pulls you in, sit with yourself. Decide what kind of person you're going to be today. Decide what kind of thoughts you'll allow in. Decide what you won't tolerate anymore, especially from your own mind. That's your time. That's where the change starts. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about taking control, even when things aren't. It's about choosing thoughts that lift you up when life gets heavy, because it will. Life will test you. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. But if your thinking is strong, you won't break. You'll adjust. You'll adapt. You'll keep moving forward. And here's something important. Changing your mindset doesn't mean you stop feeling fear or stress. It means you don't let those feelings make your decisions anymore. It means you stop running from difficulty. You start facing it with a different frame. You tell yourself, "This is hard, but I can figure it out." That one shift in thinking can change your entire day. And if you repeat it enough, it changes your life. Most people are waiting for their life to change so they can feel better. But it works the other way around. You change your mindset, and then your life starts catching up. You stop reacting to everything. You stop chasing quick results. You start building a stronger foundation. You think clearer. You plan better. You take action with intention. That's the formula. That's how winners think. Now I want you to make a decision. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. Decide that your old way of thinking has expired. Decide that from today forward, your thoughts will serve your growth, not your fear. Decide that every time your mind drifts to weakness, you'll pull it back to strength. Not once, not twice, but every day. That's how you develop a success mindset. That's how you stop staying stuck. This is not motivation. This is responsibility. Your mind is your tool. If you let it run wild, it will ruin everything. If you train it, it will build everything. You choose, you decide, and you live with what you allow. The world will throw challenges at you. People will doubt you. Your own mind will try to talk you out of the very life you say you want. But you don't have to listen. You don't have to live like that. You can rise above it. You can grow past it. You can train your mind to become the strongest part of you, not the weakest. So remember this, your life is a mirror of your thinking. You can't expect success when your thoughts are full of excuses. You can't build a strong future with a broken mindset. Fix the way you think, or you'll stay exactly where you are. But if you fix it, really fix it, there's no limit to how far you can go. Chapter 2. Stop wasting time on things that don't matter. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they keep giving their time to things that don't move their life forward. That's a hard truth to accept, but it's one of the most important ones you'll ever hear. Time is the one thing you can't get back. Once it's gone, it's gone. And too many people are wasting it like it doesn't matter. Scrolling endlessly, watching meaningless videos, arguing about things that lead nowhere, surrounding themselves with people who drain their energy, doing things they know deep down won't make their life better. You've got to stop and look at how you're spending your hours. Because your hours make up your days, and your days make up your life. If you waste 2 hours every day doing something useless, that's 60 hours a month gone. That's 720 hours a year. That's 30 full days. A full month of your year completely gone, and for what? Most of the time, it's not even worth remembering. The truth is, if you want to develop a success mindset, you've got to protect your time like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. People who build something meaningful in life don't have more hours than you. They just use their hours differently. They cut out the noise. They stop feeding distractions. They stop chasing things that look good on the surface, but leave them empty inside. They learn to say no to things that don't add to their future, not because they're better than anyone else, but because they know what's at stake. You've only got so much mental energy every day, and if you use it worrying about people who don't care, or comparing yourself to others, or going through the motions without purpose, then when it's time to do something that matters, like building your skills, planning your future, or handling your responsibilities, you're already drained. You're already tired. And then you wonder why you're stuck. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware. You need to pay close attention to what's stealing your time. What are you doing that adds no value to your future? Who are you giving your time to that doesn't respect it? What habits are eating up your day without giving you anything in return? These are questions you've got to answer with honesty. Some people are busy all the time, but they're busy doing the wrong things. They're constantly occupied, but never productive. They confuse movement with progress. But movement means nothing if it's in the wrong direction. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're doing something useful. You can spend your whole day answering messages, reacting to things online, handling little tasks, doing favors for people who wouldn't do the same for you, and end the day feeling like you did a lot. But when you look back, nothing actually moved your life forward. That's a problem. That's the trap. You need to get ruthless with your time. You need to decide what matters and start building your day around that. You need to have the courage to walk away from what doesn't serve you. That might mean cutting back on social media. That might mean spending less time with people who only want to talk about other people. That might mean waking up earlier, turning off notifications, or setting clear boundaries with your time. And yes, it might feel uncomfortable at first. You'll feel the urge to go back to old habits. You'll feel the need to check your phone every few minutes. You'll feel guilty saying no to someone. But that's part of the process. That's what it takes to grow. That's what it takes to gain control over your life. Every minute you spend on something that doesn't matter is a minute stolen from what could change your life. You could be reading something that sharpens your thinking. You could be learning a new skill. You could be building something that brings value to others. But if you keep choosing the easy thing, the familiar thing, the thing that gives you a quick escape, you'll never break through. Time is not something you find. It's something you make. And you make it by getting clear about what matters most to you. You make it by being intentional. You make it by deciding that your future is more important than temporary pleasure. You don't need more hours. You need more direction. People who succeed don't spend hours complaining. They don't waste their energy explaining themselves to people who've already made up their minds. They don't let distractions run their life. They choose their battles. They guard their focus, and they keep their eyes on what they're building. Start small if you need to. Cut out one thing that wastes your time. Replace it with one thing that builds your mindset. Maybe you stop watching that pointless show and start journaling your goals. Maybe you stop gossiping and start studying. Maybe you stop checking your phone first thing in the morning and start planning your day with intention. These little shifts compound. They change how you see yourself. They change what you expect from yourself. And over time, they change your life. One of the best ways to respect your time is to set clear goals. When you know where you're going, it becomes easier to know what doesn't belong. You start asking better questions. Does this help me move closer to my goal? Or is it just a distraction disguised as entertainment? Does this conversation lift me up? Or does it keep me in the same cycle of negativity? Is this habit building my discipline? Or is it making me soft? You've got to challenge your comfort zone. Because comfort is where time goes to die. Comfort will make you repeat the same day over and over and call it a life. Don't let that happen to you. Don't spend your life reacting to everything and everyone. Take your power back by managing your time with purpose. Sometimes that means being alone. That means sitting with your thoughts instead of numbing them. That means getting honest about what needs to change. And that's not easy, but it's worth it. Because the more intentional you become with your time, the more valuable your life becomes. You don't need anyone's permission to take control of your time. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You just need to decide. You need to look at your day and say, no more wasting time. No more acting like it doesn't matter. No more letting the hours pass without purpose. You were given life. That means you were given time. And what you do with it is the clearest reflection of how much you value it. Don't treat it like it's endless. Don't wait until things fall apart to start making changes. Don't look back with regret, wishing you had taken yourself more seriously. Start now. Start today. Take full control of the hours you've been given. You are capable of so much more than what you've settled for. But you'll never see it unless you make room for it. Cut out what's useless. Clear the noise. Protect your time. And use it to build the kind of life you can be proud of. This is your life. This is your time. And you don't get a second version. Make it count. Chapter 3. Force yourself to show up even when it sucks. Most people only take action when they feel good. They wait for the perfect mood. They wait for motivation. They wait until they're in the right headspace. But the truth is, if you only show up when you feel like it, you'll never build anything important. Success doesn't care how you feel. Growth doesn't wait for your mood to change. Progress doesn't show up just because you're comfortable. You have to show up anyway, even when you're tired, even when you're frustrated, even when everything in you wants to skip the day. That's where real strength is built. The people who rise above the rest aren't the ones with more talent or easier paths. They're the ones who keep showing up when it's hard, when it's boring, when there's no applause, and when nothing seems to be working. They push through the days when their mind tries to talk them out of it. They don't listen to the voice that says, take it easy, or do it later. They move anyway. Not because it's fun, but because they've made a decision that their goals are not negotiable. You'll never build discipline if you keep choosing comfort. You'll never feel proud of yourself if you keep avoiding the hard stuff. The real shift happens the moment you start doing the things you don't want to do, but doing them anyway. That's when you take your power back. That's when you start proving to yourself that you can be counted on, even on your worst days. It's not supposed to be easy. That's not the point. If it were easy, everyone would do it. What separates you is your ability to act when it's inconvenient, to work when your body is tired, to focus when your mind is scattered, to commit even when progress feels slow. Because if you can do it when it sucks, you can do it any time. There will be days you wake up with zero motivation. There will be mornings you look at your goals and feel overwhelmed. There will be times when the doubt creeps in and tells you you're wasting your time. And those moments will test you. That's when you find out if you're really serious. That's when you find out if you want it bad enough. It's easy to be consistent when life feels light. It's easy to work hard when you're excited. But those moments are rare. Most of life is built in the middle of stress, pressure, and uncertainty. And that's why you have to learn how to keep moving through the mess. That's why you need to build the habit of showing up even when everything in you says don't. Every time you skip something important, you're telling your mind it's okay to avoid responsibility. You're reinforcing weakness. You're creating a habit of quitting. And even though it feels like a small decision in the moment, it adds up. One skipped workout becomes a week. One lazy day turns into a pattern. One ignored task becomes a pile of stress. That's how people fall off track, not in big moments but in small choices they think don't matter. But the opposite is also true. Every time you show up when it's hard, you're training your brain to stay strong. You're building trust in yourself. You're developing emotional toughness. You're learning how to keep going even when things are not perfect. And that's the kind of mindset that carries you to results. This isn't about perfection. You don't have to be a machine. But you do need to develop a no-excuse attitude. You do need to treat your commitments like they matter. You do need to start valuing consistency over comfort. Because comfort is what's keeping you where you are. And comfort will not take you where you want to go. There's power in discipline. There's power in doing the work before you feel ready. And every time you choose to show up when you don't feel like it, you're creating a version of yourself that's ready for anything. A version that doesn't break under pressure. A version that gets things done even when the world feels heavy. The people you admire aren't magical. They've just trained themselves to keep showing up. They've taught their mind that their future matters more than their mood. They've stopped asking, "Do I feel like it today?" and replaced it with, "What needs to be done today?" That small shift in thinking changes everything. And look, no one's coming to push you. No one's going to force you to get up and do the work. That's on you. It's your job to set the standard for how you live. It's your job to choose action over excuses. It's your job to build the kind of life you can be proud of. And that starts with showing up, even on the hard days. There's always going to be a reason to delay. Your mind will always find a reason to put it off. You'll be tired. You'll feel stressed. You'll be tempted to say, "Just one day off won't hurt." But one day off often turns into 2, then 3, then you're back where you started, wondering what happened. That's why you have to stop giving yourself so many options. Remove the choice. Decide once. Stick to it. No matter what. You need to develop a relationship with yourself where your word means something. When you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't wait until you feel good. Don't wait until everything lines up perfectly. Just start. Just move. Just show up. The progress will come later, but the commitment starts now. And here's the truth. Some of your biggest breakthroughs will come on the days you didn't want to show up. You'll learn something new. You'll feel a spark of pride. You'll realize you're stronger than you thought. And that feeling, that sense of progress when things felt impossible, is what builds confidence. You don't get that feeling by sitting out. You don't grow by avoiding the hard days. You grow by leaning into them. You grow by taking one step even when it feels heavy. That's how you become the kind of person who can handle success when it comes. Most people give up way too soon. They don't give themselves a real chance. They quit before the momentum kicks in. But if you just keep showing up, even when you don't see results right away, you'll build something unshakable. You'll build discipline. And that discipline will carry you when motivation disappears. You don't need to do everything today, but you need to do something. One action, one choice, one small win. That's enough to build on. But you won't get that win if you stay still. You've got to move. You've got to act. You've got to train your mind to stop waiting for the perfect moment. You'll never regret showing up. You'll never regret doing the hard thing. But you will regret wasting your time, breaking your word and putting your life on hold. You'll regret not giving yourself the chance to see what you're really made of. So push yourself. Not because it's fun, not because you feel like it, but because you owe it to your future. Because your goals deserve your effort, even on the days it feels like too much. Because showing up when it sucks is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. This is your time. This is your chance to prove to yourself that you're not controlled by your mood. That you don't quit when things feel off. That you're building something real. And it starts with one simple rule: show up, no matter how you feel. Chapter 4. Build habits that match the life you want. If your life isn't changing, it's because your habits aren't. You can dream big, talk about your goals, write them down in fancy journals, but if your daily actions don't match the future you want, nothing will move. The life you live right now is the result of the habits you've repeated over time. And if you keep repeating the same things, you'll keep getting the same results. This is about getting honest with yourself. You can't expect to have a strong mind with weak habits. You can't expect to build something great if your routine is full of things that break your focus and kill your energy. Most people want more in life, but they don't want to change what they do each day. That's the problem. You can't have a new life with the same old patterns. You've got to match your habits with the life you say you want. You have to ask yourself, are the things I do every day leading me closer to the life I want, or are they just keeping me busy? Because it's easy to feel like you're doing a lot, but motion isn't progress. A packed schedule doesn't always mean you're moving forward. Sometimes it just means you're stuck in habits that feel normal but go nowhere. Your habits don't lie. They tell the truth about what you value. If you spend your mornings sleeping in, scrolling, rushing around with no plan, you've already told the day who's in charge, and it's not you. If you keep putting off what matters, hoping you'll get to it when life calms down, you're delaying the exact life you say you want. You either make your habits work for you, or they'll work against you. Change doesn't happen by accident. It's not about doing something big once. It's about doing something small every day that adds up. You don't need a complete overhaul. You need consistency. You need a routine that reflects the type of person you're becoming. Start simple. Start small. But start with purpose. Decide what kind of person you want to become. Be specific. Don't just say you want success or peace or discipline. Define what that looks like in real life. Then go build the habits that person would have. If you want to be focused, start cutting out distractions. If you want to be strong, start choosing healthy routines. If you want to be disciplined, stop negotiating with your excuses. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. If your habits are random, your results will be random. If your habits are weak, your foundation will be weak. But if your habits are strong and aligned with your goals, you will become the kind of person who wins, because you've trained yourself to live with intention. And it's not about motivation. Motivation fades. Some days you'll feel fired up. Other days you won't. That's why you build structure. That's why you create habits that keep you grounded when your mood tries to throw you off. Habits take over when motivation runs out. That's how you stay consistent. You don't need to do everything in one day. You just need to do the right things every day. That's where the power is. That's where real progress happens. Not in huge moves, but in steady steps. The small things you do every day are shaping you, whether you notice it or not. Start tracking your habits. Look at your routine. What do you do when you wake up? How do you spend your afternoons? What do your evenings look like? If it doesn't match the future you want, it needs to be changed. You can't keep saying you want focus while you drown in distractions. You can't keep wishing for better results while living with habits that destroy your discipline. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. That's why this matters. That's why you've got to stop treating your days like they don't count. Because they do. Every day is a vote for the person you're becoming. Every habit is shaping your identity. If you want to be great, then train like someone who takes greatness seriously. And don't wait for the perfect time. It's not coming. Don't wait for a sign. The sign is the discomfort you feel when you know your actions don't line up with your potential. Use that feeling. Let it drive you. Let it push you to change what needs to be changed. It might mean going to bed earlier so you can wake up on time. It might mean planning your day the night before. It might mean saying no to habits that used to give you short-term relief, but now just hold you back. You know what they are. The mindless entertainment, the endless scrolling, the pointless conversations, the comfort routines that keep you from growing. It's time to let them go. There's power in structure. There's clarity in having a plan. When you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, you stop wasting energy. You stop drifting. You start directing your life with intention. And that's when you feel proud. That's when you start to trust yourself. Because you're not just hoping things work out. You're doing the work that makes it real. If you struggle with habits, don't wait for some big life change. Build one small win into your day. Something that reminds you that you're in control. Maybe it's getting up with your alarm instead of hitting snooze. Maybe it's reading 5 pages of a book that sharpens your thinking. Maybe it's writing your goals down every morning. It doesn't need to be flashy. It just needs to be done. You become what you repeat. If you want to be more confident, build the habit of doing the hard things. If you want more peace, build the habit of removing what causes chaos. If you want growth, build the habit of learning something every day. And if you want to stay stuck, just keep doing what's easy and familiar. You've got to choose. Every day you get to decide. Will your habits reflect your excuses or your goals? Will your routine build strength or regret? Will your actions match the future you want or the past you're trying to escape? Don't let your habits be an accident. Design them. Own them. Build them one choice at a time. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You don't need more chances. You need more consistency. Your habits are the proof of what you believe about yourself. If you want to change your life, start by changing what you do when no one's watching. You have everything it takes to create a new future. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Right now. But it starts with building habits that actually support the life you say you want. Habits that aren't based on how you feel, but based on who you're becoming. Build them strong. Build them real. Build them now. Chapter 5. Control your attention before it controls your life. Your life is shaped by what you pay attention to. Where your focus goes, your decisions follow. Most people are not living a life they truly want, not because they don't have the ability, but because their attention is scattered, hijacked, and constantly being pulled in directions that don't help them grow. If you don't take charge of where your attention goes, something else will. And once you lose control of your attention, you start losing control of your choices, your time, your goals, and eventually your life. In today's world, There's no shortage of things fighting for your focus. Every minute, someone wants your eyes on their post, your ears on their video, your emotions tied to their content. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up and spend your entire day reacting to things that don't even matter to your future. That's how people fall behind. Not because they don't work hard, but because they spend their energy on things that don't give anything back. Your mind wasn't built to multitask at the level we're pushed into now. Checking your phone every 5 minutes, jumping from one app to another, switching between thoughts, trying to keep up with everything all at once. It's exhausting. And over time, it breaks your ability to think clearly, to stay calm, and to make strong decisions. You start feeling busy, but not productive. You feel tired, but nothing gets finished. You feel overwhelmed, but you don't know why. That's the price of distracted attention. To take control of your attention, the first step is becoming aware of what's stealing it. Start paying attention to how often your mind wanders. Notice how many times you stop what matters just to check something that doesn't. Keep track of how much time you give away without realizing it. You'll be surprised how often you're pulled away from what you should be doing by things that have no real value. Most people don't realize that their mind is being trained every day. Every time you let a notification interrupt your thought process, you're teaching your brain that focus doesn't matter. Every time you chase the next piece of entertainment instead of sitting with discomfort or boredom, you're teaching your brain to run from stillness. That's why it feels so hard to concentrate. That's why silence feels uncomfortable. Because we've trained our minds to crave noise, even when it adds no value. If you want to change this, you have to create space. Not more noise, not more updates, but space. Space to think, to reflect, to work deeply without interruption. You've got to learn how to be present with what matters. That could mean turning your phone off for a few hours a day. That could mean deleting apps that waste your time. That could mean setting boundaries with people who constantly interrupt your focus. You're not being rude by protecting your attention. You're being responsible. Your attention is your most valuable resource. What you feed your focus is what grows. If you constantly feed it negativity, confusion, or drama, that's what you'll feel inside. But if you feed it with purpose, with structure, with clarity, then your life starts to feel steady. You start thinking better. You start choosing better. And those better choices lead to a better outcome. Don't let urgency become your lifestyle. Everything feels urgent now. Messages, emails, alerts, they all come with pressure. But not everything deserves a response right away. You don't owe your attention to everything that demands it. Take time to decide what truly matters, and learn to let the rest go. Just because something is loud doesn't mean it's important. When you control your attention, you control your energy. When you protect your focus, you protect your peace. You start creating from a clear place instead of reacting from a scattered one. You stop running around trying to do everything and start doing the right things with intention. That shift changes how you experience your day. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters with full presence. One task at a time. One goal at a time. One conversation at a time. Real progress happens when you're fully in what you're doing, not when your attention is split into pieces. If you want to be better, you have to start showing up with your full mind, not just part of it. It helps to have routines that guide your attention. Create a morning rhythm that sets the tone for your day. Use the first hour of your day to focus on what matters before the noise begins. Set blocks of time for deep work where you put your phone away, close the extra tabs, and go all in on one thing. Build habits that protect your attention instead of weakening it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. If you get pulled off track, catch it. Bring your attention back. Every time you do that, you're retraining your mind to listen to you again. You're taking back control one moment at a time. Don't let other people run your day for you. Don't let platforms decide what gets your attention. Don't let random content decide what thoughts live in your head. Your attention is your responsibility. It belongs to your goals. It belongs to your vision. And you have every right to protect it. You become what you consistently focus on. If you constantly focus on distractions, you become scattered. If you focus on what's out of your control, you become anxious. But if you focus on what you can control, what you can build, what you can grow, that becomes your life. That becomes your reality. Take a step back and really ask yourself, what has my attention every day? Is it helping me or hurting me? Is it building me or breaking me down? Is it making me stronger or more reactive? These are the questions that create change. You can't fix what you won't face. And once you face it, you can choose differently. Create a system that supports your focus. Write down your priorities each day. Schedule your most important work when your mind is freshest. Stop checking your phone every few minutes. Give yourself blocks of uninterrupted time. Respect your attention enough to plan your day around it, not against it. And when your mind starts drifting, when distractions show up, don't beat yourself up. Just notice it and bring your attention back. It's not about having perfect focus. It's about having the discipline to keep returning to what matters. That's how you train it. That's how you gain control. The more you practice this, the stronger your attention becomes. The easier it gets to shut out what doesn't belong. The faster you recover from interruptions. And over time, this discipline compounds. You get more done in less time. You think clearer, you feel calmer. And most importantly, you stay in control of your own mind. This is not about being busy. This is about being present, being where you are, doing what matters, and protecting your mind from everything that tries to pull it away. The world is noisy, but your focus doesn't have to be. You have the power to control what gets your attention. Use it, train it, respect it, because your future depends on it. Chapter 6. Pick people who want success more than comfort. The people you spend time with shape the direction of your life. Every conversation you have, every belief they share, every choice they normalize, those things influence how you think, how you act, and how far you go. If you spend your time with people who choose comfort over growth, you'll start doing the same. If you surround yourself with people who avoid challenges, make excuses, and settle for less, it becomes easy to fall into that same pattern without even noticing it. That's how strong the environment is. It pulls you toward its level. If you want to rise, you have to be around people who are rising too. You can't build a strong mindset when everyone around you is okay with staying weak. You can't grow if the people you talk to every day are always complaining, quitting, or wasting time. It starts to wear you down. You pick up their energy. You start thinking like them. Even if you have big goals, even if you're motivated, being in the wrong crowd can quietly drag you backwards. That's why this matters. Who you keep close is not a small decision. It's one of the most important ones you'll ever make. You need people who challenge you, not just comfort you. You need voices in your life that tell you the truth, not just what you want to hear. That kind of honesty isn't always easy, but it's what helps you grow. People who want success won't let you waste time. They won't encourage your bad habits. They won't laugh when you slack off. They'll hold you to a higher standard because they've chosen that path for themselves too. If everyone around you is okay with doing the bare minimum, that starts to feel normal. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's right. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. There's nothing wrong with wanting to improve. But you have to be around people who understand that. People who value effort. People who push themselves. People who want to win, not just talk about winning. You need people who live in action, not excuses. You need people who don't fold when things get hard. The ones who wake up early, who stay disciplined, who stay focused even when nobody's watching. That mindset is contagious. Being around that kind of energy makes you think differently. You start making better choices. You start holding yourself to a higher level. That's the power of the right people. Not everyone in your life will get it. Some people will call you crazy for trying. Some will get uncomfortable when you start changing. That's normal. Growth exposes what others are afraid to face. But you can't slow down just to keep them comfortable. That's not your job. Your job is to become who you're meant to be. And sometimes that means letting go of people who want to stay the same. It doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop letting people pull you off your path. You can love someone and still choose a different direction. You can respect someone and still protect your energy. This is your life. You're the one who has to live with the results. If someone's energy, mindset or habits are keeping you from becoming your best, don't ignore that. Face it. And take action. Look around at the people you spend the most time with. Do they talk about ideas or other people? Do they take ownership of their life? Or always blame others? Do they lift you up or drain your drive? If you always leave conversations feeling tired, unmotivated or off track, that's a sign. Don't overlook it. Strong people want to see you strong. Focused people respect your focus. Disciplined people will support your discipline. And when you're around that kind of energy, you start to realize that greatness isn't rare. It's just not common in the wrong environment. But it does exist. You just have to look for it. You just have to be willing to walk away from comfort and toward challenge. Choosing people who want success doesn't mean looking for perfect people. It means finding those who are serious. People who are working on themselves. People who are learning, failing, and still showing up. They don't need to be at the top, but they need to be moving forward. They need to be hungry for better. Because that hunger is what keeps you going when your own motivation dips. Sometimes it's not even about the words people say. It's about how they live. Watch what they do. See how they spend their time. Notice how they respond to pressure. Do they face it or run from it? Do they complain or adjust? Do they quit or keep going? That's how you know who you're dealing with. And that's how you know who's worth your time. You don't need a big group. You just need the right one. Even one person with the right mindset can change your life. They can hold you accountable. They can remind you of what matters. They can push you when you start slipping. That's the kind of support that builds winners. You also need to check your own role in your circle. Are you pushing others to be better? Or are you keeping things comfortable? Are you setting the standard or lowering it to avoid tension? You can't expect to attract strong people if you're not living strong yourself. Be the person who raises the level in the room. That's how you build a group that grows together. You'll know you're around the right people when they don't let you settle. When they remind you of your goals. When they expect your best and respect your process. These people don't waste time on drama. They're too focused on building something real. And when you find them, stay close. Grow with them and protect that environment. It takes courage to change your circle. It's not always easy. You might feel lonely at first, but temporary loneliness is better than permanent regret. Being around people who don't care will cost you your focus, your peace, and your progress. That price is too high. Choose people who want more. Choose people who are building. Choose people who live with purpose. Your future depends on it. This isn't just about who you hang out with. It's about who you become because of who you're around. So make sure you're choosing people who live the way you want to live. People who choose growth over excuses. People who are serious about their goals. People who want success more than they want comfort. Those are the ones who will help you rise. Those are the ones who will help you become unstoppable. Chapter 7. Do the scary thing before your mind talks you out. Fear doesn't wait until you're ready. It shows up fast. It shows up right before you take a step that matters. It shows up when you're about to do something that could actually move your life forward. That's how fear works. It tries to stop you before you even begin. It shows up as hesitation. It whispers doubt. It makes everything feel heavier than it really is. And if you don't move quickly, your mind will come up with a reason to back out. That's why timing matters. You can't wait until you feel brave. You have to act before your mind convinces you not to. Every time you face something important, starting a new habit, making a big decision, speaking up, ending a bad relationship, applying for the job, you'll feel some level of fear. That doesn't mean something is wrong. It means something real is happening. Your comfort zone is being challenged. And that feeling in your chest, the nerves, the tension, that's the sign that you're about to grow. But only if you act before your mind takes over. Your brain is built to protect you, not to push you. It wants to keep you safe, not successful. It will tell you to stay where you are, because that feels easier. That feels familiar. It will exaggerate every possible thing that could go wrong. And if you listen to it for too long, you'll start believing it. You'll believe that you're not ready, that it's not the right time, that maybe you should wait a little longer. And the longer you wait, the louder fear gets. The truth is, you don't need more confidence to act. You need action to build confidence. The only way to quiet fear is to move through it. Not talk about it, not analyze it, not hide from it, but take one simple step into it before your mind gets a chance to talk you out of it. The more you hesitate, the more fear wins. The more you act, the more you take control. Fear thrives in delay. When you feel the hesitation rising, that's the signal to move, not later, not tomorrow, now, because once you've taken the step, once you've committed, the fear doesn't have the same hold on you. You've already done the thing your mind was trying to avoid. And now you have proof that you can do hard things. That builds power. That builds belief. And belief changes everything. It doesn't matter how small the step is. What matters is that you move before the fear gets too loud. Maybe it's sending the message, making the call, saying what needs to be said. Maybe it's walking into the room, hitting publish, showing up anyway. The size doesn't matter. The timing does, because fear loses its grip when you stop letting it delay your decision. You've got to stop giving your mind so much time to kill your progress. You don't need to overthink every move. You don't need to rehearse every outcome. That's just fear wearing a mask. It sounds smart, but it's not. It's avoidance, and it keeps you stuck. You weren't born to stay stuck. You were built to move, but your mind needs proof. It needs evidence that you won't break if you try. And the only way to collect that proof is to go through the fear, not around it. Some of the biggest opportunities in your life will come wrapped in fear, and if you don't recognize that, you'll keep running from the very things that could change you. You'll keep living small, not because you don't want more, but because you let your mind make your decisions for you. Your mind works for you. You don't work for it. Train it, direct it, show it what matters. And that starts by acting when it's trying to freeze. Think about all the moments you held back. Think about the chances you let pass because fear convinced you that it wasn't the right time. Think about how different your life might look if you had just taken one bold step instead of listening to the voice that told you to wait. That's not guilt, that's clarity. Use that clarity to choose differently next time. Use it to act faster. Use it to stop waiting for perfect conditions. You don't need to feel ready to start. You just need to start. Readiness comes after action, not before. You become more ready with every step you take. You become stronger by doing the thing, not by thinking about it. Every single time you push through fear, you stretch your limits. You show yourself that fear isn't the wall, it's just noise. And noise can't stop you. If you stop listening to it, the people who move forward in life aren't fearless, they're just trained to act before fear takes control. They've built the habit of not giving fear too much room to grow. And that's a habit you can build too. But you've got to start now. You've got to start with something that scares you today. Not next week. Not when you're more ready. Today, make it simple. Don't wait for courage. Make the call. Send the application. Walk into the room. Speak up. Take the first uncomfortable step. The next one will feel easier. Not because fear disappears, but because you showed yourself that it doesn't control you. That's how you take your power back. Step by step, one decision at a time. You'll never reach your potential by staying safe. You'll never know how far you can go until you stop letting fear set your limits. Do the thing, not after the fear goes away, but before your mind talks you out of it. That's how change begins. That's how strength is built. That's how you become the person you're meant to be. Chapter 8. Say no to everything that slows your progress. If you want to grow, you have to get serious about what you allow in your life. You can't keep saying yes to things that slow you down and expect to move fast. Every day, your time, your energy, and your focus are being pulled in different directions. If you're not careful, you'll spend your best hours on things that don't take you anywhere. That's the silent trap, thinking you're busy when you're just distracted. The real challenge is not always about doing more. Sometimes it's about cutting the things that hold you back. Most people never reach their full potential because they don't know how to say no. They say yes out of guilt. They say yes to avoid uncomfortable conversations. They say yes because they don't want to feel left out. But every yes that isn't aligned with your goals becomes a block in your path. It takes your time, it eats your energy, and it leaves you feeling off track. It's not that you don't have time to grow. It's that too much of your time is tied up in things that don't push you forward. Saying no is not about being rude. It's about being clear. It's about protecting the path you're on. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everyone gets to take up space in your life. You have to decide what really matters and let everything else go. That means walking away from habits that feel good but give you nothing in return. That means stepping back from people who drain your drive. That means cutting the little things that look harmless but quietly steal your momentum. Progress is not just about effort, it's about direction. You can be working hard and still be stuck if your energy is spread too thin. You can be doing a lot and still going nowhere if what you're doing doesn't line up with where you want to go. That's why it's not enough to just do more. You have to do what matters and stop doing what doesn't. Look at your daily routine. What are you doing out of habit that's slowing you down? What are you saying yes to just because you're used to it? What are you giving time to that has nothing to do with your goals? These are hard questions, but they lead to real change. You can't fix what you won't face. And if you keep avoiding these questions, you'll keep repeating the same cycles. It's easy to stay stuck in the same loop when everything around you is familiar. But comfort is dangerous when it stops your growth. Saying no to things that slow you down means making choices that might not feel easy at first. It means stepping out of automatic mode and taking control of your life. It means looking at a full calendar and asking, does any of this really help me build the life I want? People will test your boundaries. They will ask for your time. They will expect you to be available. But you're not here to please everyone. You're here to become who you're meant to be. And that won't happen if you keep putting other people's needs ahead of your own priorities. You have to start protecting your time, like it matters, because it does. It's the one thing you don't get back. Every minute you give to the wrong thing is a minute taken away from what could have helped you grow. You also have to be honest about the behaviors that slow you down. That endless scrolling, that late-night binge watching, that constant need for distraction, all of it adds up. All of it creates delay. You're not lazy, you're just caught in patterns that are designed to keep you passive. And once you realize that, you get your power back. You stop falling for the trap. You stop choosing what's easy and start choosing what's necessary. The more you say no to what doesn't matter, the clearer your life becomes. You start seeing what actually deserves your focus. You start feeling more in control. You start gaining momentum. That's when you build confidence, not just because you're moving forward, but because you know you're no longer wasting time. People often confuse being busy with being productive. But there's a difference. Being busy is about doing a lot. Being productive is about doing what counts. You could be busy all day doing things that feel urgent, but add nothing to your life. That's why you have to create space. Space to think, space to plan, space to do the deep work that leads to real results. And that space doesn't happen by accident. You make it by saying no. There's always going to be something pulling for your attention. There's always going to be a new distraction, a new request, a new excuse to delay. But you have to stay focused on your own path. You can't let outside noise shape your direction. You can't let guilt decide your schedule. Your future depends on your ability to protect your focus. Some people won't understand why you've become more selective. Some might think you're being distant. But that's okay. The people who truly want the best for you will respect your boundaries. The ones who don't were never supporting your growth in the first place. You don't owe everyone access to your time. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You owe it to yourself to live with purpose. Progress is built in the small daily decisions. The moment you choose to stay home and work instead of going out just to fit in. The moment you close the app and get back to your routine. The moment you say no to what used to distract you and say yes to the work that changes you. These choices shape your results. They shape your future. And they shape the kind of person you become. You don't need to cut everything all at once. Start small, pick one thing that slows you down and remove it. Replace it with something that builds you up. Maybe that's switching out a bad habit for a useful one. Maybe that's cutting back time with someone who keeps you off track. Maybe it's just saying no to something you would have said yes to out of pressure. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. And the more you say no to what doesn't help you, the more time you have for what does. You are responsible for how your life turns out. And every yes or no you give is shaping that outcome. Don't let people, habits, or distractions make that decision for you. Take your time seriously. Take your focus seriously. Say no with confidence. Say no with clarity. Say no because you know what's at stake if you don't. You have the power to move faster, think clearer, and grow stronger. But it starts with removing what slows you down. This is your life. You decide how it's built. Say no to what steals your progress, and say yes to the future you know you're capable of creating. Chapter 9. Stop lying to yourself and just get it done. You know what you need to do. You've known it for a while. But instead of doing it, you keep coming up with reasons to avoid it. You keep telling yourself stories that make it easier to delay. You say things like, "I'm tired," or "I'll start tomorrow," or "I need to feel more ready," when deep down you know those are just excuses. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you keep lying to yourself about why you haven't done it. And until you get honest, nothing will change. You lie to yourself when you pretend you don't have time, but you spend hours scrolling, watching shows, or talking about things that don't matter. You lie to yourself when you say you're planning, but you're really just avoiding. You lie to yourself when you say you're waiting for the right moment, knowing full well that no perfect moment is coming. And the more you lie to yourself, the more you start believing your own words. That's the danger. Because when the mind hears something long enough, it stops questioning it. You start settling. You start thinking that your half effort is enough. You start telling yourself that trying is good enough, even when you're barely doing anything that actually moves you forward. And then you wonder why you feel stuck. You wonder why things aren't changing. You wonder why nothing feels exciting anymore. It's because you've made it normal to avoid your own truth. The hard truth is this: your goals don't care how you feel. Your dreams don't wait for your motivation to come back. Your life won't improve just because you think about it a lot. You have to do the work. You have to show up. You have to get it done. Even when you're tired. Even when you're scared. Even when you're unsure. That's how progress is made. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need someone to come push you. You don't need more time to think. What you need is to stop making promises you don't keep. What you need is to stop saying, "I'll start Monday," and actually start now. What you need is to look yourself in the mirror and admit that you've been letting yourself down. Not because you're weak, but because you've made it a habit to avoid the uncomfortable work that builds real results. There's a quiet pain that comes from knowing you're not doing your best. It eats at you. It shows up as frustration. It shows up as anxiety. It shows up when you try to relax, but your mind reminds you of everything you haven't done yet. That guilt doesn't go away until you face it. That tension won't leave until you stop lying to yourself and just get it done. You already know what happens when you delay. You've seen how time passes. You've felt what it's like to keep pushing things off. You've experienced the cycle of planning, procrastinating, regretting, and then starting over again. That cycle will keep repeating until you break it. And the only way to break it is with action. You don't need to fix everything in one day. You just need to stop running from what you know you need to do. Maybe it's a task you've been putting off. Maybe it's a decision you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a habit you know is hurting you. Whatever it is, face it, be real about it, and take the next step, not when you feel like it, but now. You've got to hold yourself to a higher standard. No one else is going to do it for you. If you keep waiting for someone to come save you, you'll be waiting forever. You're the one who has to save yourself. You're the one who has to choose progress over comfort. You're the one who has to stop making the same excuses and start making new results. You've got more inside you than what you've been showing. You've got potential you haven't tapped into because you keep standing in your own way. You keep acting like you have forever. You don't. Time is moving. Life is happening. And if you don't start now, you're going to look back with regret. Not because you failed, but because you never even tried the way you could have. When you finally get tired of your own excuses, something changes. You stop overthinking. You stop negotiating. You start doing. That's when things begin to shift. That's when you feel momentum again. That's when you start trusting yourself again, because you're no longer just talking, you're actually showing up. You don't need to feel inspired to be consistent. You just need to make a decision and follow through. Every time you do what you said you would do, you build strength. Every time you complete something you wanted to avoid, you build pride. Every time you stop lying to yourself and choose discipline, you take your life in a new direction. There is freedom in honesty. When you finally admit that you've been making excuses, you give yourself the power to change. When you stop blaming your past, your situation, or your schedule, you take ownership. That's when the work gets done. Not because it's easy, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. You have goals for a reason. You have a vision for your life for a reason. That vision wasn't put inside you so you could ignore it. It's there to guide you, but it can't move without action. It can't come to life if you keep holding back. It's time to stop talking about what you're going to do. It's time to stop waiting for everything to feel right. It's time to stop breaking your own trust. Do the work. Get it done. Start where you are. Use what you have. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. Write the plan. Make the call. Start the routine. Finish the task. You don't have to figure out everything at once. You just have to do the thing that's been waiting for you to stop making excuses. At some point you either get tired of starting over, or you get tired of staying stuck. Make the choice to follow through. Make the choice to be the kind of person who gets things done. Not just when it's easy, not just when it's fun, but every single time it matters, because your future is shaped by the actions you take when nobody's watching. No more pretending. No more delays. No more wasted time. If you want change, you have to earn it. If you want to feel proud, you have to do the work that deserves it. Nobody else can do this for you. It's on you, and you're strong enough to handle it. You're capable of doing what needs to be done. You just have to stop lying to yourself and start proving it with action. Starting now. Chapter 10. Raise your standards and never drop them again. Your life will always reflect the level of standards you choose to live by. If you accept low effort from yourself, you'll get low results. If you tolerate excuses, you'll keep repeating the same mistakes. But the moment you raise your standards and refuse to lower them again, everything begins to change. You start expecting more from yourself. You start demanding more from your time, your choices, and your environment. And that shift creates growth that sticks. Most people don't struggle because they're incapable. They struggle because they keep living below what they're capable of. They say they want more, but their actions show otherwise. They break promises to themselves. They say yes to things they know they should walk away from. They keep habits that don't match the life they say they want. And over time, that becomes normal. That becomes who they are. Not because they planned it, but because they never set the standard for something better. You can't build a strong life on weak expectations. You can't change your situation if you keep allowing the same behavior that built it. At some point, you have to say enough. You have to decide that the old version of you no longer runs the show, and that means raising the bar for how you show up every single day. Raising your standards is not about being perfect. It's about being real with yourself. It's about getting honest about the level of discipline you've avoided. It's about admitting that you've settled too often and too easily. And instead of judging yourself, you use that truth to make a new choice. You decide what you will no longer accept from your mindset, from your actions, from the people around you. When you raise your standards, you stop waiting for the world to change. You take control of your choices. You stop letting your mood decide your discipline. You stop giving energy to things that pull you backwards. You stop talking about potential and start living like someone who respects their potential. That's where power lives. Not in motivation, not in hype, but in quiet, steady standards that you don't drop no matter what. It starts small. You wake up when you said you would. You follow through on what you promised. You finish what you start. You speak up when something doesn't feel right. You eat what fuels you. You train your mind to stop negotiating with weakness. And you do these things not because anyone is watching, but because this is the new rule now. This is the level you've chosen, and you don't go below it anymore. You've got to understand something. If you don't choose your standards, the world will choose them for you. And most of the world doesn't aim high. Most of the world settles. Most of the world is okay with average. And if you let that in, you'll start to think it's okay to give half effort. You'll start believing that discipline is optional. You'll start thinking that your best can wait until you feel better. That mindset will rob you of everything you could have built. Your standards should make you uncomfortable. They should push you. They should call you out when you start slipping. If they don't, they're not high enough. The whole point of raising your standards is to stop living like your past and start building your future. And you can't build something strong while still acting like the version of you that kept falling apart. There will be people who won't understand. There will be moments when you're tempted to drop back down to your old level. But you have to remember why you raised your standards in the first place. You did it because you were tired of feeling stuck. You did it because you were done lying to yourself. You did it because you finally saw that you deserve more, and that it's up to you to earn it. When you raise your standards, you stop chasing quick results. You stop looking for shortcuts. You start thinking long-term. You start acting like someone who's building something real. That changes how you approach your time. That changes how you treat your body, your focus, your relationships, and your money. Nothing gets ignored. Nothing gets excused. Because now you're living with clarity, not confusion. The most dangerous thing you can do is keep your standards flexible, to treat them like suggestions, to let them slip when life gets hard. That's how you lose momentum. That's how you end up right back where you started. If you want real change, your standards have to become non-negotiable. You do the work, no matter how you feel. You stay focused, even when nobody's clapping for you. You say no to what doesn't serve your growth. And you keep your word to yourself even when nobody else will know if you don't. This kind of mindset creates confidence. Not fake confidence, the kind that fades when things get hard, but real confidence, the kind that's earned through action, the kind that comes from knowing you can count on yourself. That's what strong standards give you. They give you proof that you don't back down. They give you the foundation to build a life that actually makes sense. There's no magic moment when it all feels easy. There's just a decision, and then another, and another. That's how you live at a higher level, not by trying to be someone else, but by showing up as the version of you that refuses to lower the bar just because things got hard. You have to stop letting your old habits lead. You have to stop making room for things that don't belong in your future. You have to start being more selective with your time, your energy, and your attention. Because the more you grow, the more those things matter. And the people who rise are the ones who don't let anything cheap take up space in their life. Start asking yourself better questions. Does this action match the person I'm becoming? Does this routine respect my goals? Does this decision reflect high standards, or just old comfort? These are the questions that pull you forward. These are the questions that keep you aligned when pressure shows up. And yes, there will be setbacks. You will have days when you fall short. You will make mistakes. But your standard isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about always coming back to the level you've committed to. It's about fixing it fast and staying locked in. That's the mindset that wins long term. When you raise your standards and never drop them again, you stop feeling stuck. You stop feeling lost. You start living with a clear sense of purpose. You know who you are. You know what you expect from yourself. And you stop letting weak choices decide your future. You've spent enough time settling. You've seen what happens when you let things slide. You've felt the weight of not giving your best. Now it's time for something different. Not louder, not faster, just stronger. You raise the bar, you protect it, and you show up for it every single day. Because that's how your life changes. And that's how you make sure it never goes back.